What's going on, guys? We're checking out what's inside an R35 front diff. The amount of parts inside is going to shock you. First off, let's check out the components. So this here is a front diff housing for the R35 GTR. It's all in billet, so we've got the billet front cover by Boost Logic. We then have the billet side retainer bearing. This one is from Linear Engineering. And then we've got the actual housing itself, all in billet, again by Boost Logic. So these are the first three components that you need when you're looking to upgrade your front diff for the R35 GTR. And then you've got all of these. There's all sorts of seals, washers, nuts, bearings. There's lots of different sizes of bolts as well, which help it to connect to the block and to the sump. Then there's some shims and adjusters to get your clearances and your tolerances and things like that. This is just some of it. There's some parts missing. Obviously, there's the LSD, there's the crown wheel and pinion, and also missing here in this shot is, I think, the drive gear bolts as well. So that's not even everything, and you can see there's just almost 100 sort of different things here. Okay, so I'm going to pack some of this away and assemble some of the little components that I know goes where, just so I don't lose them. Obviously, they're really tiny little bits and pieces. So the first thing that I've got here is something called an oil gear defense. I don't know why they call it a gear defense. Maybe it's because it goes near the breather hose. Maybe it stops from a whole bunch of oil rushing out. I'm not an expert when it comes to differentials in any way, so that might be why it's called that, or why Nissan called it that. Who knows? Somebody in the comments let me know if they know the reason behind the name being this. Anyway, trying to work out how this sort of fits in. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it goes something like that. Actually, maybe not. I might have to turn this around, and I think it goes the other way. That looks a bit better. There's a little bit of overhang. I'm not sure if it's meant to be that way, or whether there's a design flaw in the Boost Logic diff cover. Who knows? But this looks like the most logical sort of way it's going to go. So I'm just going to quickly tighten this down. There's no particular torque spec, or there is a torque spec, but it's pretty much hand tight because it was like 8.5 Newton meters or something like that. So hand tight on that is good enough. Eventually the shop that will assemble all of the key components, I'll get them to just double check it and make sure it's, correctly torqued down. But again, hand tight, it was good enough because it was only just 8.5 Newton meters or something along that line. So good enough for this. All of the torque specs and how the components go together and all of those things, you can find the manuals online. This particular section is not in the engine manual section, obviously. It's in the transmission section. So if you do find the manuals online, just look or scroll down till you find the transmission section, or even the front axle section, and you'll see it somewhere there. So should be good to go. Next, I've got the drain plugs and the washers for the drain plugs. So I may as well put them on right now while I've got a chance, just to make it a little bit easier. And again, because these are very small components and there's hundreds of them, I don't want to lose anything, while I'm transporting things around or anything like that. So may as well pop them on now because, you don't want to lose it, right? So, yeah. The R35 diff has two drain plugs. Pretty obvious where they go. So just on the front cover itself, you pop them on, screw them down, and you're good to go. I'm only just going to hand tighten it because, like I said, there's going to be a shop that's going to assemble all of this. And the whole point is just to get these little small components on so I don't lose them. And again, it's not going to be full of oil or anything like that. So it doesn't really need to be torqued down right now. So this is just good enough just to make sure nothing gets lost. And there you go, that's done. So that's everything that pretty much goes on the front cover. There is 10 bolts that do obviously mount this to the diff housing or the main diff housing itself. but there's no point putting that on because the crown wheel and pinion and the LSD component have not gone in, so just going to leave that as it is for now. These billet items just look absolutely mint. I'm sure, if you're a car guy, you either love titanium, carbon, or billet because, that's the go-to thing these days, and billet just looks absolutely mint. If I could have more billet on the car, I would definitely 100% put as much as I can on there. And actually, there is a surprise coming. There is more billet on the way, and you'll see in future videos what's in store because I had a little bit of a change in heart and, a little bit of arm twisting, but we've got more and more billet stuff coming. So keep an eye out. It'll be in the next, or maybe the video after that, the next one, but it's going to look sexy, so can't wait to show you guys. Next up, I've just got some bolts on the side. They do have a washer that goes with them. And again, I'm just going to pop them in so I don't lose them, and I know where they're meant to go as well. So I may as well put them in there now, and at least we know where they go, and I'm not going to lose them during transportation or anything like that. So fairly straightforward. And I'm not torquing anything down or anything like that. I'm pretty much just hand tightening it for safekeeping, I suppose. If you've enjoyed the R35 GTR engine build series to date, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. It's going to motivate me to create more content for you guys, especially GTR related content, and potentially motivate me for a new project car which we'll build on the channel. Right, now that that's secure, let's get this all boxed up and off to Croydon Racing Developments, who will assemble the rest of the front diff assembly, and then we can get it mounted onto the motor, and that way that part's done. But really, I just wanted to show you guys how many components are involved in rebuilding a diff from the ground up. It's insane. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.